Hello, YouTube. I haven't talked about USPSA in a while. I've been very busy, but there's been plenty going on. Uh, the most interesting piece of news over the last couple weeks came in the meeting minutes from the board meeting. It came in the meeting minutes this week. So I should say, a lot of us watching from outside, looking at the board, we're just like, man, like, hey, they're losing a bunch of money and they've got all these problems over here, like all these kind of problems going on, and you're just like, what are they doing about this stuff? What are they really doing? And the last meeting was very telling. So you wonder, hey, what is your average, what is the board member thinking they need to do? Well, we found out in the last meeting minutes. Um, they've actually passed a motion to polygraph test all of the board members to find who's leaking confidential board information. That came in the latest meeting minutes, which it's it's not really surprising, but it's like I know they're going to do something that's kind of weird and kind of crazy, but in their brains, it's going to make sense. But it's hard to really predict what exactly it's going to be. But, if you think about it like that, like I don't really know what these guys are going to do, but I know it'll be something dumb. Like this makes more sense. So, what's going on here? Well, a lot of information has been leaked out about USPSA. Practical Shooting Insights has put out a bunch of it. Uh, you know, this or that financial information, this or that tidbit of news, and whatever. All sorts of claims being made by Practical Shooting Insights, like, hey, I'm getting this information and putting it out. Now, all of the information appears to be truthful and it's relatively benign. It's like, hey, they lost X amount of money last year. It's like, hey, they're doing this thing with the budget, whatever it is, leaking out emails, that kind of thing. Now, that's been going on for a while. And obviously, this is very frustrating for the board because they're big about keeping, information close. They want to, keep it secret and keep doing whatever stuff they want to do. Uh, Now, of course, they'll talk a lot about transparency and being open, but that's appears to be just paying lip service to it. If you watch what they're actually doing, these guys freak out when any information they don't want out, when any information comes out, they really don't like it. So why the polygraph tests? Basically, Practical Shooting Insights posting these leaks has been very, very damaging for the board. It's changing a lot of people's opinions about what's going on. You rewind the clock a couple years, you had pretty much me and a few other people making all kinds of claims about how crazy the board members are. And as time has gone on, more and more people are getting the picture, and things are just accelerating even more as Insights posts all this information. This is very damaging for the board. So they believe that either Scott or Frank, the kind of, I guess you'd say they're on our team. It's not like they take orders from anyone or communicate with me or Insights or whatever. Like we're not playing on a team. I just look at those guys and be like, I think they're fundamentally good dudes and they're trying to help and they're fundamentally honest and all of that. So those two board members are being blamed for these leaks, I think, internally. That's what it looks like. Um, Now, this polygraph testing would be to prove that one of them or both of them or whatever, to prove that they're leaking, and then the like the old school FUD board can remove one or both of those guys and then continue on doing what they're doing without the leaks happening anymore. That would be me reading the tea leaves, like, oh, this is why they're trying to do the polygraph testing. Now, it's funny that they're doing this. Kind of dumb, but it's definitely funny. I think what they're going to find out is that Frank and Scott are not leaking anything, and I think they wouldn't believe that, but I believe that. Like I've had brief interactions with Scott and Frank over the last year, and I don't ask them anything that I'm not supposed to know. They don't tell me anything I'm not supposed to know. They don't tell other people stuff they're not supposed to know. I don't think these guys are putting out documents to insights. I mean, I really don't think so. I think he has. I think he has other means of getting these documents. But it's definitely interesting to see that the board is just trying to close up the leaks. Especially since it's truthful information. It's not anything real crazy. It's like how much money they're losing or what they're trying to do or whatever. So anyway, that's very interesting that they're going to be polygraph testing the board members. It is funny as hell to me. Interestingly, during the same meeting, there was a couple of motions proposed by the Area 3 director, Scott Arnberg. One of them, motion to freeze pay increases, hiring, and bonuses in the USPSA. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there's a fairly detailed motion in there that, hey, we're gonna freeze this stuff so we don't lose so much money, which seems sort of sensible to me. Another motion, motion for cost savings and meeting schedule changes. Just trying to get it to where the board members can only go to one nationals for their meeting instead of all of them. They're going to have an in-person board meeting for 2 days after after a national championship event. That would actually save the travel to have the in-person board meeting that they do every year apart from a nationals because it's kind of have to travel twice. If that makes sense. They're gonna uh, well, anyway, yeah, there's no other board members' expenses will be reimbursed in the 2024 calendar year. Yeah, that's part of the motion. So anyway, those cost-cutting motions, which seem pretty sensible, especially given the amount of money they're losing. As a matter of fact, those cost-cutting motions are not gonna like financially save the organization. That's more just to slow the bleeding, not even really stop it. Those motions that Scott proposed in the meeting, those were tabled. They'll discuss that later. What they wanted to talk about was the polygraph testing. So seeing these motions and the meeting minutes, seeing this stuff come out, it's very obvious where the board's head is at, and they're trying to, hey, we got to stop these leaks because this is very bad for the organization. As far as actually trying to fix the financial mess that the organization's in, nah, they're not doing that. Uh, so, I, of course, I'll keep watching, but God, these guys, it just keeps getting better.